All right. Good morning.
Good morning.
So I am so excited to have Jenn here today. I think especially in the midst of kind of chaos, like in the midst of the pandemic that we're dealing with, everything that everybody's lives are topsy-turvy a little bit. When I thought about what's the best thing that could serve, the best topic that could serve the community, organization as a whole, I think is it's naturally something that would serve me, but especially now, because we're already off kilter and it feels like, just bring me back a little bit, give me some sense of normalcy. So anyway, with that, I hope that this kind of meets everybody exactly where you're at. Just in getting to know Jenn, I'm very excited to have her talk to you guys. Lots of great tidbits. I love always the nuggets that people can walk away with. And just in our conversation this week, I walked away with nuggets. And in your community on Facebook, on your live, like I was walking away with nuggets. So I love to see that, and just hope that we can impart some onto the audience today. So with that, I will let you kind of introduce yourself and maybe give just a little bit about how you became passionate, really, like how did you fall into organization? Did you always kind of seek it out? What was that journey like?
Sure. Thanks so much. I'm so excited to be here with you, Trish. It's been so fun to get to know you, and I always love talking about organization, but especially right now when everybody's in their homes, and even though we technically have more time, it seems like we don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
And some of it is that time is just disorganized right now. So, and that's okay. So I have been doing this for 16 plus years. I always have to think because I started a year and a half before my daughter was born, so I have to do the math. So 16 plus years ago, and I had come out of HR and was still doing some HR consulting, but just didn't love doing it full time. And just really loved getting out there and helping women to kind of put themselves back together a little bit was the phrase that was used a lot with them. A lot of women who were naturally organized, but just because of babies or marriage or divorce or whatever, had just sort of kind of fallen off the wagon, if you will, and gotten a little discombobulated. And so I really got my start in organizing in my HR career when I was dropped into a rotational role and said, okay, you've got 3 months, learn it, change it, teach it, and don't piss them off in the process. And here I am, 23, 24 years old, dripping wet, right? And I'm going to teach these women and mostly women who had been in these roles, some for 20 or 30 years, hated computers. And this was the mid 90s, so computers were their own special experience.
Yes.
And anyway,
Yeah.
and yet I'm going to teach them how to redo their process. What a mess, right? And so that's really kind of where it started. And I will say, like, I was not always the Marie Kondo kid. I was, my mom is still looking for this picture of my high school room where I had stuff literally all over the walls, all my posters and mums and all this, because I'm in Texas, so we do the big mums, right? So all that kind of stuff. And my floor had paths. I knew where everything was. My desk was a hot mess. My floor, my big closet was a hot mess, but I knew which piles were the dirty clothes and which piles were the clean clothes.
Yes.
But that was apparently not okay. So, to the extent that even there was one time, like, she was just done with it because she was in grad school and had gotten a housekeeper every couple of weeks, and she was tired of my room not being vacuumed.
Yep. Yeah.
Because my room was not going to be cleaned by somebody else. It was going to be cleaned by me. And so she was like, fair warning, I'm going to clean it up. And she did. She came in with trash bags and put stuff in there. And then I had to buy them back for $25 a pop. I still to this day have no idea where she hid them. They were not in our house. They were not in the attic. They were not in the cars. I looked. I'm convinced they were at a neighbor's house. And sometimes I didn't know I couldn't see the bags first. And sometimes there was one shoe in one and one shoe in another, and too bad. And so,
strategic. She was strategic.
For sure. for sure. And at that point I was like, maybe I would get my stuff together. And so, I mean, it's, so like we don't all come out of the womb with it,
Yeah.
And that's what, I mean, I come from a family of educators, and that's where I really come from, is that, I really love to educate and empower, because that for me is a combination.
Yeah.
As an organizer, like, am I going to come in and make your closet and your pantry look great? Yes. But is that the ultimate goal for me? No. It's to help you understand how you can make it look great every single day, and then how you can take those same skills to a different space in the house.
Yeah.
And that to me is the difference maker. I want my clients to be raving fans, but not clients anymore, because they can do it themselves.
Right. At least not in the same room, the
Right.
next room. Yeah.
Right. And there's some, I come back every year or so for a 20,000 mile checkup kind of thing, but because we all need that. But
So, oh, sorry.
no, that's okay. But I mean, I think I've been described as sort of a therapist, coach, and organizer, because I'm very intuitive, but I really want to kind of help with that emotional stuff that's underpinning so much of it. So that's I think what makes me different from other organizers in some cases.
So, and that's actually just where I was going, because, we can have like the most grandiose plans. We can get it to this place that is great. It's organized, it's everything has a spot, perfect. But where do you feel like we fall off the tracks? Like, from people that you've worked with, or just that you've talked to, whatever the case may be, where do you feel like we have a plan and we go sideways? Is it bad habits? Is it bad choices? Is it like kind of not sticking to it? Is it, like, what would you kind of say is pretty common?
Sure. Well, and here's the thing, is that everybody falls off. Every single person falls off. And so give yourself grace. I think that's where the biggest thing is that I think especially as women, we get into this very perfectionist mindset of, well, it doesn't look like the perfect, tidy magazine hotel house, and so it's just all gone to hell.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's just you're living real life, and that's okay. You've got an organized house when it can pop back together with relative simplicity, not because it always looks like that. And so I think understanding that is part of it. And habits are certainly a part of it. And creating good habits that are associated with triggers, I think, is key. And decision making, and having the confidence in those decisions. Because most, if you think about kind of the extreme case, like you think about hoarding, and let's be real, our hoarding friends right now are celebrating the fact that they've got 14,000 rolls of toilet paper, right? Yes. But that aside, hoarding generally stems from a lack of confidence in decision making. Well, I don't know if I'm going to need it. I might need that later. So then there's just no decision made. And so then it just stays there. And then, well, what if I need that? Or, I could reuse that someday. And that's where that builds. And it's easier for us to think about that oftentimes when you think about like a hoarding perspective, but we all say that clock radio that mostly works, but not completely. Well, like, I'll just stick it in the closet and, maybe I can use it for something later.
Yeah.
Why? But thinking about those habits and triggers, it's creating that, just like you get up, you go to the bathroom, you brush your teeth, you've got those triggers built in that when you get up, you go to the bathroom. When you finish your meal, you take your dishes to the sink, you rinse them out, you put them in the dishwasher. At least for most of us, right? Maybe not for the kids, but for most of us, right? We've got those triggers. And so it's creating those same triggers for organization. When I come in, to the house, I come in with my mail. I don't just throw it on the counter and walk away. I go through it right away. I put stuff in recycling. I put stuff in shredding, and I've got a place where the to-do stuff can live. I don't have to do it right now, but the to-do stuff can live. And so it's processed. So things like that you can just really build in, really just make the biggest difference. And do we do them every day? No, of course not. Of course not. But it's it's easier to come back to. Just like right now, we're not all showering and brushing our teeth every day, right? But we can come back to that really easy.
Right.
So, you know, I mean, especially for people who worked outside of the house normally, right? They're used to this really incredible morning routine and an evening routine, and they don't have that now. But could they pop back into that? Absolutely. So it's the same thing. You're not going to do it every day. So a lot of grace is part of that too.
Yeah. So there's a couple of things that you said actually that sparked me. The first thing, I love that you talk about the emotional side, like that fear-based, that decision based thinking, because I can remember I immediately went back to when we first bought our house. I grew up very poor. So when we first bought our house, like anything would do. Do you know what I mean? Like it was like, oh, well, because we bought our house, we were young.
Right.
We had kids early. So it was like, all right, well, we don't necessarily have the money. So like, just, like
Right.
that's good. We'll keep that. And then as we grew in our careers and we started to make more money, it was like this thing where, I had to let go of the other stuff that really was just creating clutter like around the house for no good reason. My joke was like, when you turn off the lights, the clutter is like gremlins. It multiplies in the corner, like 'cause all of a sudden you're like, where did that even come from? And it was because I wasn't necessarily getting rid of, when I was replacing something, I would just keep it. And
Right.
by no stretch a hoarder, but just I wasn't necessarily kind of getting rid of it.
Right. For sure.
So
We all do it.
yeah. Um, and the habits. I'm such like, yeah, to the habits. Yes.
They're game changers.
Yeah. So you mentioned the mail. I had at my desk used to be like the catch-all for the mail
Mm-hmm.
and the kids' schoolwork when they were in school. My kids are obviously, as we talked about, they're older now, they're college and beyond. And but they were in school, all their papers hit my desk, all of the mail hit my desk. Like like paper became my nemesis, and I
Mm-hmm.
hated it. And the thing that I had read somewhere, or whatever, was put the recycle bin right by the front door. Like as soon as you walk in the door, create that habit. Like so that, to your point, it is processed.
Mm-hmm.
It is like right away. So is there something that you would say, maybe like that you've seen of kind of the highest, or maybe most common, maybe it just stuck out to you, an area that one thing kind of made all the difference there? Whether it was something like the mail bin, or I know that you kind of mentioned that, so now I'm asking you for something else. But
No.
anything, or to your daily schedules, like I know that you talk about that in your community, on your Facebook group. Is that something that where you've seen a pretty significant shift for people?
For sure. I mean, creating that schedule where you've got time blocks is super important even now.
Yeah.
Though knowing that those time blocks may have, especially if you've got kiddos at home that you're homeschooling, that it has to be a little modular, right? Because every day's a little bit different, especially if you've got littles. And so, again, a lot of grace in all of this. The one thing that I think beyond the habits that really makes a big difference is giving 10 minutes a day
Yeah.
as a family. And whether that family is one person in the house or 6 people in the house or whatever, 10 minutes at one time, and you focus on one room, one person's in charge, turn on some music, and we call it in our family the family 10, but every single day, even if you just do it 5 days a week, I mean,
Yeah.
if you're a family of 4,
Yeah.
then you're getting 40 minutes worth of cleaning and tidying and decluttering and organizing in 10 minutes. And one of the keys there is don't leave the space. Like stay in that space, make your stacks for the other spaces. Cause like if you think about the living room, everything migrates into the living room, right? So a stack for everybody's bedroom, a stack for the bathroom, a stack for the kitchen. And then when that 10 minutes is up, you go put those things where they belong. But if you do that 10 minutes a day, you can really start whittling away at the everyday clutter. It makes you really think about putting something down where it doesn't belong after that. But then you can start digging into some of the stuff like the silverware drawer, right? Like, when was the last time we did that? Right. And so, but you can knock it out in 10 minutes. You know, somebody takes it out, somebody rinses things off, somebody wipes out the drawer, and it's done. And so 10 minutes a day is nothing. I mean, just get off of social, spend 10 minutes as a family. And if you've got somebody in your family who's really resisting that, there's probably some other conversations to have, frankly, because if you can't value and commit 10 minutes a day to doing something as a unit for the betterment of the public space, there's probably bigger issues. And again, this is all public spaces. You can also do a private 10, right? You can do a personal 10 in your own space, but in those public family spaces that everybody uses, gosh, it makes such a difference to do that every freaking day.
Yeah. I love that you talked about the 10-minute. So, and really, I think it could be a total game if you've got littles, you know, like put the timer on, or like put some music on, and like, hey, when the music stops, we stop, you know, like whatever.
For sure.
But I immediately think of like, all right, everybody in the living room, you know, or to your point, everybody in the kitchen, like 10 minutes, just putting, you know, like, it would probably be immaculate by the time you were done, you know, because especially if you're doing it every day.
Right.
And to your point, like, it's a multiplier, because it's not just you spending 10 minutes, maybe even getting frustrated that you're the only one cleaning. Thankfully, my husband is a total cleaner, and I love it, but not everybody is. Like, he probably is more than me, you know, so he's probably like, yeah. But if you do it together, then so much good stuff. Like, yeah, I think, and then everybody feels good when they walk into the room.
For sure. And it's 10 minutes of time together, which in the land before quarantine, we longed for, right? Maybe now not so much, but I mean, even still, like, if you're all home in quarantine, you're still kind of dividing and conquering.
Yeah.
You know, and there is more family time and that kind of thing, but you can invest 10 minutes in your home as a family.
Make it fun.
Oh, for sure. I'm a big fan of turning on music and turning on a timer. Yeah. Because then everybody knows, and it doesn't feel like they're going to get tricked. Because, like, we've all done that. Like, hey, can you help me for a minute? And then, like, you know, an hour and a half later, we're still working on a project, right? You know, hey, can you help me move this thing in the garage? And then now we're cleaning out the garage. Like, we've all done it, right? Or we've had it done to us. Either way, but yeah, I mean, set a timer, and like on Apple phones, you can set the timer to where it turns the music off.
Yeah.
And so then you don't even have to think about it. And if you want to keep going in group or in solo, fine, keep going.
Yeah.
But it creates that boundary for everybody. And I mean, and even as teenagers, they can do it. As littles, they can do it. Everybody can do it.
I was just thinking, I was like, well, my boys are both here, 18 and 20. I think we're going to do like a 10-minute music cleaning today.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and you can rotate who's in charge of the space.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if you want to, right? Yeah. Like in my family, they default to me, of course, but but I purposely will move it around, right? Of, well, what are we going to work on? Because what I see as crazy making may not be crazy making to somebody else, and something else might be crazy making to them.
Right.
And so, you know, like, my husband comes and goes through the front door. I usually don't. I come and go through the garage. And so the foyer just doesn't even faze me.
Right.
So if there's a couple of delivery boxes there or whatever, I don't even see it, right? So, and really, to that point, if you feel like, oh, my house is really in good shape, take pictures of it. You got time right now? Take pictures of it and then look at the picture and then decide if your house is really in good shape.
I always used to, like, whenever you're going to have people, think about it as if somebody's going to come over or stop by unexpectedly. And then when you take a look around your space, you know, your room, you know, the kitchen, whatever, suddenly you're like, how long has that outlet cover looked like that? Or, you know, like the stuff that you, exactly what you said, that you just totally glaze over and don't even notice anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I love the pictures. I just did that for my office. I was kind of with everything reshifting and settling with, the kids being here and my husband working from home full time. I just basically had to re-clean, move my office, everything. And I took pictures of the room before. It was just a guest room. I took pictures of the before. And when I looked at the pictures, I was like, wow. And I was looking at the room, but looking at the picture, I was like, I don't even yeah. So that's a
But
great
take after pictures too, so that you can feel proud of
Definitely.
yourself and you can see that difference. Because again, you can see it differently when you're looking at it through somebody else's eyes, which is how we look at pictures.
Yeah, that's interesting. I never even really thought about that with the pictures.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that.
Which
All right.
doesn't make sense, right? Because I mean, you're looking at the same space, but
Yes.
when you see it captured as a single image, you look at it as if you were looking at somebody else's picture.
So funny. So
It is.
good. Yeah. How hard is it to just take a picture with your phone?
Right.
Like,
But do the after picture too.
yeah, I will. I will. All right. So I love that. Yeah, so much good stuff. So what would you want people to walk away with? Is it, kind of like after listening to this today, I think for sure, I think that you already gave some great nuggets, but what would you want them to walk away with? Is it the grace? Is it the kind of emotional side? Is it, that it's, you gave so much already, but is there one thing that might trip people up the most that you would say focus on that?
I would say that it's like people talk about changing your diet. It's a lifestyle change. It is a practice every day. It is not a one-time thing. You can't go through and just like supermarket sweep the house or Marie Kondo the house or whatever, right? And think you're done. It's an everyday practice. Just like, I can eat vegan today and super healthy and whole food, but if I'm eating the Oreos and the queso tomorrow, like that's okay,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't it doesn't kill everything, right? And some of it is also just keeping that promise and that commitment to yourself. I mean, Rachel talks about that all the time, right? So, you've got to keep that promise and that commitment to yourself and creating that value in your family unit too, that it's important to do this. And even if you've got some messies in your house, that they understand that this is important to you and that they will value it for you, even if they don't value it for themselves. So in those public spaces that's, that they're not going to come in and create this pig pen chaos kind of thing. And not, because then that feels like, and I think that weighs heavily, especially on us mamas, right? That, like, well, why am I always the one doing this? And why can't everybody else keep, right? It's easy to get it in that. So creating that value for yourself and within your family unit, I think is super important too. And again, it's a lifestyle. It's an everyday practice, and it's not always going to be perfect. And that's okay. A lot of grace every day, even outside of quarantine, a lot of grace.
Yeah. And I think the value is spot on. I mean, once it's all clean and you walk into that room, like it's so calming and settling, like that the clutter's not there, that it's not kind of craziness. It just, you notice a difference right away.
For sure.
So I think when everybody sees that, it's always great. All right.
Absolutely.
So following you, getting into your community. So getting all of these nuggets like on the regular. What's the best way for them to track you down? What do you have going on that you would want them to know about? Give me whatever you want to give me.
Awesome. Well, there's lots of ways. I'm on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. So lots of ways there. My website is cultivating-uyou.com. And so you can find it all there. And I know that you'll post all the links and goodies there.
Yep.
I've also got I've got all sorts of things going on. There's with quarantine and everything in the world right now, I've really accelerated a lot of stuff that I originally had planned out throughout the year, and now it's all let's do it now. Because I really want to get so much of the digital products and the virtual options to people right now while they've got a little bit more time, and they're in their space and looking at it differently. So I've already got a digital course out that is that addresses your clutter and how to be successful at dealing with your clutter. It's it's one of those, it's a great digital course. You can watch it at 2 a.m, take it in little chunks as you want. And for your folks, I've done a coupon code, 10 minutes a day, is the number 10 minutes a day, all caps. And I know you'll put that in there too, is we'll give them $5 off. And be sure to, opt in on my website to the email and jump in on social with me in my community, which is Cultivating Community. We do challenges every month, and there's a lot of exclusive content in there, and you'll be hooked in with that if you're on the email list too. But there's, oh my gosh, there's all sorts of things coming out. I've got more digital courses. I've got some Zoom happy hours that are going to be coming out.
Nice.
We're going to do organizing happy hours. I've got to work on a name right now. They're boozing in bathrooms, but I'm working on that one. So we're, grab a cocktail. Let's do a little learning and let's hang out together.
Yeah.
There's another course that I'm going to be teaching live over the next few weeks in April for free. And then after that, it'll be a paid course that works on using your time and space effectively, because right now we've got lots of people who are not used to working from home. It's not their jam, but they're having to do it anyway. And so I really want to dive in and help those people, corporate people and small businesses and entrepreneurs and all those folks with that. So lots and lots of things coming down the pike. Group programs and one-on-one coaching coming too. So lots of things. So getting connected, we'll get you in on that. And I love the opportunity to come in and talk to your community. And I so appreciate it, Trish.
Absolutely. I'm grateful that you are really kind of bringing the ability to kind of recenter, like with these tips and everything, and everything that they'll get on the community, the course, and that discount. Thank you so much. But especially right now when everybody needs a little bit of recenter and just a little bit of feeling normal in a space that's not necessarily normal, I couldn't be happier to have you on today and the timing of all of this. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Happy to be here.
All right. Well, have a fantastic day, everyone. I hope that whenever you are listening to this, that just it's a great day. Take one of the tips, just one that day, and implement it. And I know it'll make a difference. So thank you so much. And we will see you soon.